All right, back up and at on the opening line right here, FNTSY Radio. Thanks for rocking with us through a little bit of technical difficulty.
Wait, hold on. Yo, FNTSY Radio, bro? Come on, man.
Oh, man, son.
Yo, you're going old school, bro. Let's go.
It's a nature habit. You've been past that already. The Elite Fantasy Sports Network. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. My main man, Benny Ricciardi. We've already touched on Jusef Nurkic, that injury, how that shakes up for the playoffs for the Portland Trail Blazers. Also, the drama in Pittsburgh continues with Ben and Juju, and now Tomlin's involved, and AB tweeting, and Lev Bell tweeting, and they just need to go ahead and take this thing to Hard Knocks and get it out the way, get everything out in the open. Mm-hmm. But yesterday, Benny, the first game of the season was announced. The NFL's 100th year, the centennial year of the National Football League. The season will open up with the oldest rivalry in professional football, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. And, of course, there is already a line. The Bears will come into this game as a 4-point favorite. Yeah, I saw that. The line is from FanDuel Sportsbook in New Jersey, too, which is crazy to me that they're now a line originator for that. But, hey, whatever. It is what it is. I don't really mind this. Like, most of the time, you usually have the defending Super Bowl champ being the one that opens the season. I think they said that the Patriots – I don't know if they have an opponent yet, but they're going to be playing the Sunday night game the first week. Play Sunday night. Everybody wants that opponent to be the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, but there's other names that they've been kicking around, too. Like, I would love it to be the Cleveland Browns. I mean, with the firepower that they have right now, Baker Mayfield – Odell Beckham. There's a lot of stars on that team that people want to see. That defense has some big-time players, too, that they drafted. Myles Garrett, guys like that. So, I mean, I would love to see that. Another team a lot of people talking about, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't have a problem with the Chiefs either, Benny. That's a rematch of the AFC Championship game, and you get Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, maybe. I mean, again, if you're taking the defending Super Bowl champs, what you really want is some star power on the other side. Because the whole idea, that was the whole idea of why they had it in the first place, is that it's the opening week of the NFL. The NFL wants all eyes on them at that point in time. So you go Chiefs, Patriots Sunday night, or even Browns. I mean, either one. I got to be honest, either one of those two teams. So the third team that they were throwing around in there is the New York Giants. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. You're going to hit the New York Giants? I'm like, do we really want to start the season on Sunday Night Football where you can't change to another game and watch the Giants get their ass beat and see Eli Manning throw 5 interceptions? Like, that's the product that you guys want to put out there? Like, who's making these decisions? Mike Francesa? Like, come on. You don't want the Giants-Patriots being the open of the season. If you go with the Chiefs, you go with the Browns, I'm on board. Don't be throwing the Giants in there. Put the Giants on at 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? In their local market. Exactly. It's the Philadelphia Eagles or whatever. You do not want to sully up nighttime football with the New York Giants who cannot score more than 14 points. But now, as you get ready for your fantasy seasons and fantasy baseball season long and fantasy football season long, FantasyGuru.com still the most trusted site in the business. So definitely go over there and get that cracking and keep that started. FantasyGuru.com. Part of the Elite Fantasy Sports Network. Yo, so reading around through different stuff and shit in the world of sports yesterday, I saw where the Washington Capitals are getting ready to visit the White House. These White House visits are like stories now, you know what I'm saying? Obviously because of the 45th president. Right. Now, people normally say, well, it's a hockey team, you know what I'm saying? It's a hockey team. They're good citizens. They're happy to be here, happy to be professional athletes, very appreciative, you know what I'm saying? It's not about politics. Of course, the entire hockey team is going to go to the White House. Well, not so fast. As 3 members of the Washington Capitals, Benny, have declined the invitation to the White House, their goalie, I'm about to say their center, their goalie, Brandon Hotley, something like that. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not the hockey guy, you know what I'm saying? He actually spoke out about it and was like, nah, I think it's wrong. I think the way Son is carrying things is wrong for the most part. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to the White House. Benny, when we get into this White House stuff every time a team wins a championship, is it too much? Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Like, listen, here's my thing. If you have a problem with it, you have every right not to go. If you want to publicize that and make a big deal of it, I don't agree with it, but I mean, you have that right to do that as well. Here's the way I look at it, right? Publicizing it. I mean, taking a platform, standing on the crate and saying, I'm not going, or if somebody asks you a question about it?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like standing on the platform and kind of making a big deal about it. Like, if you want to do that, that's your right. Like, listen, if it was me in that situation and I didn't agree with, whatever a president or something was doing and I had to go visit him, I would either go and just kind of be respectful and not, you don't have to converse with the guy. It's not, you guys don't have to go out and grab pussies together or anything like that. Like, you can just go and shake his hand and, I mean, listen, going to visit the White House is like, it's an event. I mean, you lived in the D.C. area, so you've probably done it before. I mean, I've been there once, and it was pretty cool to go around and actually see, like, the building. I've never been there before, so, getting invited. And the thing is, too, like, when you go to the White House, like, if you go for a visit, you're only allowed in, like, one little part over there on the side. Like, you don't get into the Oval Office when you go to do a tour or anything like that. Like, you don't get into, what is it, the West Wing where, the president actually is. You're in, like, I forget. I think it's the East Wing is where you get to go. The West Wing is really where everything's going on, though, or whatever.
Yeah, you like be in the tourist area of the West.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it would be cool to go and do it. But here's the other thing, too, right? I mean, this is a hockey team. How many of these guys are American to begin with? Like, you got 34 Canadians. I mean, Alex Ovechkin is Russian, so obviously he loves Donald Trump. I mean,
definitely going. You know what I'm saying? He may have some secrets. You know what I mean? But I think it's starting to become much ado about nothing. I think it's because of the fact that Donald Trump is the president. Now, obviously, people have sent out other invitations before,
right?
And they have not gone. But it wasn't the big deal that it was now. Obviously, like I said, in the NFL and in the NBA, those champions more likely not going to go unless it's the New England Patriots. I hate to say it that way. The Patriots will go, put a good face on it, whatever. But Philadelphia Eagles didn't go last year. The Golden State Warriors are never going to go.
I mean, the Patriots are going to go because they get their hand jobs from the same place. So, that's obviously why they're going to be there. But, I mean, it really comes down to, like, you know this. Like, there's a big racial divide that's around this president, whether you like it or not. I mean, that's the way it is. Yeah. There's a lot of members of the black community that don't like the way he handles himself, that don't like some of the things that he does right there. And, you kind of mentioned it in passing here, but there's a big difference between the makeup of a hockey team with a whole bunch of foreign players that aren't even American.
Iceland ain't really tripping off who the president is.
Right. And then, a basketball team who wins, who probably has a couple black guys on the team from inner cities that, definitely don't like him. Like I said, my big thing is, like, like I said, I've never been to the Oval Office. I've never been to that part of the White House. If my team wins a championship, I want to go, whether I agree with the president or not. I want to go see it, check it out, see what it's all about, see what I like it. Again, it doesn't mean that you're voting for the guy. It doesn't mean that you love the guy. It doesn't even mean that you have to respect the guy. But you know what? You're getting an opportunity to go do something that a lot of other people don't get an opportunity to go do. So you go, you shake hands, you eat your fast food that he orders for you, and you
eat your Whoppers and you keep it pushing.
Yeah,
it's funny that you mentioned it, right? Because, I used to work in the feds, whatever. I've never been to the White House. I've been outside the White House on, like, some, we're just never been there on official business. I was pretty deep into the Secret Service process, like real deep into it, you know what I'm saying? Like, took the medical and all of that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a real interesting process when you go through it. So, I had top secret clearance, all of that. So I've been around government officials, big-time government officials, and all of that. So one time I was in an area. It's a skiff I was working in, a sensitive compartment, sensitive information in a big time government building. And there was like, okay, George Bush was going to be coming through the area where I was at, George Bush Jr., you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, this is like, this is like maybe about 3 or 4 months after Hurricane Katrina, you know what I'm saying? So George Bush was not the most popular person in the black community. You know what I'm saying?
Understandable, yeah. Understandable.
So we chilling, right? We chilling, whatever. So me and some of the homies, we chilling. So they like, yeah, George Bush coming through, whatever. They're like, yo, he gonna be where he coming through where you at. So they was like, yo, you gonna shake his hand. And I was like, nah, I'm not shaking Sean's hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, F that. You know what I'm saying? Yada, 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 yada. They're like, yeah, right, motherfucker. You gonna shake his hand. Yada, 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 yada. Sure enough, I'm up that joint chilling, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's me and another little shorty, whatever. So she was like, I'm not shaking his hand. Like, I'm not shaking his hand either. Motherfucker comes through, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right to you.
All George W. Jr.'s, you know what I'm saying? And he sticks his hand out. And you're like, son is homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, He's a good old boy. You know what I mean? He don't mean no harm. It's easy to talk it, but when the president is standing right there next to you with his hand out, it's like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, you don't have to vote for the guy. You don't have to, agree with them. But I mean, it is pretty cool to say, to take a picture, say you met the president of the United States, take a picture in the Oval Office. Like, I mean, again, put it this way, unless you're about to you or I are very likely not going to be president at any point in our lifetime. So that would be the closest we ever get to, to being in that office and sitting in that chair. So again, it would be cool to go see it once or twice. I would go if it was me in that situation. But I don't knock any of these guys who decide they want to use their platform to, to bring anything out. I mean, that's our freedom. That's our rights in this country, right? If you want to use your platform to make a stand and you decide that you don't want to go and you want to use that platform for it, that's what I love about America. You got the right to do that.
No doubt about it. So I always find that stuff interesting. I met Bill Clinton 3 times. As crazy as that sounds, like I've met Bill Clinton.
That's really not that crazy, to be honest with you.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bill
Clinton. He lives in Harlem, no? I mean, didn't he move to Harlem right after he got
– They do have a building not too far from here. They're hardly ever in those offices, though. I met him a little bit further uptown. He was opening up some project he was doing, whatever, about gardening in Harlem. And he opened up a garden or whatever, or gave the funds for a garden or whatever. And I met him then. He spoke at the graduation for, I believe it might have been Stuyvesant or Bronx Science, and I was working in the building where the graduation was being held at. I'm just back there chilling, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, it's Bill Clinton.
Yep.
And another time working at Sirius XM in the same you've been to that building.
Yep.
In Columbus Circle. And I'm in there one day chilling, and door opens up. There's 3 or 4 Secret Service officers, and it's Bill Clinton. And I'm like, my man, you know what I'm saying?
But if any president in the world that you would randomly see at some random place, like Bill Clinton is the one. Like, you're never gonna see some of these other guys, but Bill Clinton's a guy that would show up and just be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, you're like, you don't have no Secret Service. He'd be like, I know. Oh man, speaking of presidents and all kind of stuff going on, Yo, Benny, this celebrity lawyer, Michael Avenatti. Like, I'm like, I'm always so, whenever I know he's going after R. Kelly right now. I know he represented Stormy Daniels, but I always have this thing when it comes to, when I see Avenatti, and I'm like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, he got a little Rick Pitino with him, if you ask me.
Yes.
He got a little.
That's such a good, oh my God, that's such a good analogy. That's such a good analogy.
Fantasy executive, well, not a fantasy industry executive that we both know. He got a little bit of him to him too. Like, it's always family. We're always winning. But I'm like, man, this guy might be a snake oil salesman. Yesterday when he tweeted that he was getting ready to take down Nike, I was like, this is interesting. He must have something good. Then 5 minutes later, he's being arrested. What the hell is up with this dude, Benny?
But here's what I don't understand. He's going to take down Nike about a college basketball cheating scandal. Don't we already know about the college basketball cheating scandal? Or is this another college basketball cheating scandal on top of the one? Because to me, the last college basketball cheating scandal that all these coaches are getting fired and getting in trouble for, the FBI was involved in there. Now, you and I both know, Corey, if the FBI is involved in something, they're going to turn over every rock. They ain't going to miss nothing. So you're telling me that Michael Aviante found something that the FBI didn't find when they were doing their investigation? I find that pretty hard to believe, to be honest with you. So maybe whatever he found is kind of the same thing that's already kind of going on. But really, I don't understand. And honestly, I want to know more about this story, right? Because like you said,
because the way it's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, but also, like, he tweeted that shit out, and then 5 minutes later, he got arrested on something that had nothing to do with it. And then later on, he got arrested for
wire fraud.
For a second time for the tape of him trying to extort Nike. And it's like, no offense. Like, I thought I had a pretty, eventful day yesterday. Like, that's a hell of a day right there. Like, you basically, you tried to, extort somebody, and then you got arrested for one thing, and then you got arrested for something else in the same day. It's like, damn, man, take a chill. Go relax, have a beer, do something.
Benny, how big do your balls got to be if you try to extort Nike, maybe the most powerful brand in sports?
You know what? I don't really think you need big balls to do that, right? Because so like back in the day, Jesse James, you remember Jesse James, the bank robber?
Yeah.
So he had one of the greatest lines ever, and they asked him like, "Why do you rob banks?" And his line was, "That's where the money is." That's the thing. It's like, you know, if you're gonna go after somebody, like if he comes after me, you can sue me. You're not gonna get that much money out of me. You know, whatever. You sue Nike, you could wind up walking away with 6 or 7 zeros on that check. And, you know, again, you only need, you know what the great thing about being a millionaire is? You only need to make $1 million once. You're a millionaire.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? So you extort one person and it works out for you. You get $1 million. You're a millionaire. And you know what? You probably made as much money as the average person is going to make in 15, 20 years of working. So, you know, really it only has to work out once for you.
So Son basically told Nike, listen, I got this information. I'm going public with it. Straight up. Right? Mm-hmm. Nike kind of was like, no, you're not. Whatever. We're not even tripping off of you. And he told Nike, we're going to go public with this story.
Yep.
Then you're going to hire me for $20 million to dig you out of the story. I'm like, well, look at Son really carried it like a mafia boss.
Yo, shoot, man. Take a shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they would have been like, all right, fine, he's got $20 million, so now he's living the life that he wanted. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do.
You're right, Benny. Shoot. You know what I mean? But unfortunately for Mr. Avenatti, I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but
which just call him prisoner number 0715349.
Exactly. Prisoner A, you know what I mean? I feel bad though because some of the information they got on him, they got some tape footage with him more or less basically saying that the charges against R. Kelly really are BS and like a lot of them won't stick. And I'm like, R. Kelly gonna find a way to get off again, son. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, R. Kelly tried to leave the country. I don't know if you saw that, but
he tried to go to Dubai. Yeah.
Yeah, his lawyer was like, well, he's got to make money if you want him to pay his child support, so he has to go to Dubai. If he goes to Dubai, you're never gonna see that motherfucker again. He's
not coming back, son.
He's not
coming back. He's not coming. R. Kelly's plenty of places R. Kelly can go do a couple shows. But then again, people are really down on him, so who knows? So Rhode Island sports betting is coming to Rhode Island. They passed the bill.
Yep.
They have the mobile betting platform.
Yep.
Up here in this area, Benny, it looks like we're going to find out on Monday. Governor Cuomo of New York, seems like he's been the governor forever, is actually, he is kind of like the upstate Catskills. You know what I'm saying? That's where the gambling in New York is going to be at, in the upstate areas.
Yep.
He is not open to the idea of mobile betting, but the budget does include mobile betting. There's different people that's going to be going up there to the State House this week to talk to Cuomo about bringing the mobile betting to New York. We should know by next Monday, April 1st. Benny, New York needs mobile betting because I'm not going up to the Catskills.
Oh, hell yeah.
One. Number two, now, the two Empire City casinos, the one in Yonkers and the one deep out in Queens, they should bring it there too. But I do understand. If they bring it to the joint, if they bring it out there, it could be very much like the FanDuel Sportsbook. It could be a lot going down.
It will be.
I know for a fact that there is one of the companies are looking at a location in Long Island. But for the most part, the mobile is going to be the big thing. I don't understand why New York doesn't want to get involved with mobile betting.
So here's the argument. Not that I agree with it, but the argument is basically because they tried to make the same argument in New Jersey, and luckily New Jersey was like, nah, screw that. We're going to allow the mobile. The argument is that this is basically the like casino lobbies are the ones that are throwing the money at trying to get the mobile killed, right? Because what the casinos really want is they want you to go there because they're going to make money off you betting, like that's fine, but they're also going to make money off. I mean, you know, when you go to the FanDuel Sportsbook and you're there all day, right? You're going to go grab a pretzel at some point. You're going to grab a beer at some point. Yeah, you know, you're gonna, you know, and they're basically going to make money. And that's the thing. Like, you go buy a soda at the FanDuel Sportsbook, it's $4. That fucking soda didn't cost $4. It cost them like 20 cents worth of water and, you know, syrup in order to put it in your cup for you. Cost you 30 cents for them to make the cup. They're making $3 or $4 every time you buy a soda. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but if you got 5,000-10,000 people in there and they're each buying a soda, well, you just made $40,000-$50,000 off of selling, you know, sugar water to people. That's really what the casinos want, because not only are they going to make their money on whatever they're doing with the gambling and you know, the fact that they're taking rake and whatever, but they're also going to get your butt in the seat. Now, when I'm sitting here and I'm betting from my phone right now and I'm putting in bets, they're not making any money off me. I'm drinking whatever's in my refrigerator. If I need to go smoke a cigarette, I walk outside. I'm not going there and buying a $15 pack of cigarettes from behind the bar over there. Yeah. I'm not paying money to go sit in the lounge, to rent the table in the lounge and have like bottle service and all that. That's really the point.
They want you in the joint so they can handle you. One thing about it is, Benny, when I sit in the house, I do my capping. I put a plan together. You know what I'm saying? And then I go and I put my bets in. When I go out to the book, I'm like, It's like, what else can I bet on? You know what I mean? And that's normally, as somebody who bets on sports, that's normally where you go wrong at. Get a plan, stick to it. Yesterday, I woke up, I looked around, I said, you know what? I'm on Orlando Magic, I'm on Norfolk State, and I'm on University of South Florida.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Norfolk State just missed that joint. But you know what? I laid 14 with Baylor over the weekend. They covered. They lost by 13. They covered.
Yep.
I laid 14 with Norfolk State last night. Well, I caught 14 with Norfolk State last night, and I was like, you're not just going to hit 2 plus 14s back to back. They lose by 16, but the fantasy executive did have a teaser in play, and that one did end up hitting as they hit a 3 at the buzzer. You know what I'm saying? Down 19, kid floats up a 3. And I'm like, yes, you're a relevant shot taking MFer.
And that's what makes sports betting great is when everybody else doesn't care about a game that's a 16-point game with 5 seconds left. The guy who has plus 14 is waiting for that shot to go in. Like, yo, this game is still on. We can't go home yet. We gotta wait.
Son, this game is lit. You're like, dog, the game is over. They getting ran out the gym. No, it's not.
Yo, but if I get 2 more points, then we gotta wait so I can cash this bet so we can afford the Uber on the way home. And that's all they got.
There you go, right there. You already know the drill. Speaking of sports betting, I really think, especially once we get past, I think we're going to see some. First of all, the NCAA tournament, the highest ratings they've had in years for the NCAA tournament. I think sports betting is a part of that. You know what else I think is going to have high ratings, and I think it's going to be a lot to do with sports betting? The NCAA women's tournament. I think you're going to have more people watching women's college basketball this year, especially the women's Final Four. They move on to the Sweet 16. I saw a FanDuel had women college basketball lines up yesterday. I'm sure they will again this weekend. Benny, are you willing to bet women's college basketball?
No.
Now you're not even thinking about it.
I'm going to be honest with you. And again, like you kind of said it before, like having a plan and going about there. Part of the reason why I think I have been able to be successful at betting over the years is I don't bet on things I don't understand.
No doubt.
You know, like if I can't name 5 players on a women's basketball team, if I can't name 5 players that play women's basketball, period, I'm not betting on women's basketball because I don't have an edge there. So basically what I'm doing is I'm basically – to me, like sports betting, people make the argument, is it gambling? Is it not – like, yes, it's gambling, but – like, it's not gambling like rolling a die and having no basic, control over the outcome. It's gambling where if you're doing your homework, you can put yourself in good situations. And if you keep putting yourself in good situations time after time, over the long period of it, when you put everything together, you're going to end up winning more than you're losing. If I'm playing if I'm betting on women's college basketball, I'm basically throwing darts blindfolded. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm not going to touch it. Now, if you came along and told me that we were going to hire somebody at Guru Elite who literally does nothing but watches women's college basketball and is a women's college basketball fan. Like I bet on esports.
Yeah.
And I don't know shit about esports, but we got a guy who's been killing esports over at the betting package.
That's all you
I basically follow him. I'll tail his betting. And I do that for sports. Like, I don't know anything about hockey, but we got some good hockey guys in the betting package who know what they're talking about. So if I'm going to throw some bets on hockey that night, I'm not just going to throw darts and pick out teams. I'm going to go see what our experts are saying, which guys they like and why, and then I'm going to make a bet on it. So if I have some kind of
lean,
like some kind of service, some kind of edge, some kind of, somebody that I trust that is doing the work and knows what they're talking about when it comes to women's college basketball, all right, I'll throw some money on it. I ain't watching the game because that shit is boring as hell. I'll throw some money on it, But if I don't have any lean, I'm not going to risk my money on something that's a coin flip. I mean, if I'm going to do something like that, I'll go down and shoot craps in Atlantic City or something like that because it's the same thing. I'm basically gambling.
No doubt about it, though. Don't forget, go to guruelite.com to sign up for the betting package. Like I said, I'm not the real big baseball bettor, but I will be telling those guys bets until I get my feet under me. If you want to go over there right now, sign up for it as the Major League Baseball season is about to kick off and get underway. So after the NBA playoffs, after the finals, and we need to be looking for stuff to bet on. So I'm thinking, well, what about spring football? Well, spring football is kind of like next week. And then spring football is like inter-squad game. I don't think you can bet on spring football. And then Benny had hit me. Summer League basketball, NBA Summer League. I know for a fact you can bet on NBA Summer League.
You can. I've never actually done it, and okay. I haven't. I was gonna say, I mean, again, it's another one of those things where like I don't follow it close enough because I'm usually watching baseball at that time of year. But you know, really, and this is for any sport, man. The idea is to try to find an edge. So if you got somebody who's watching that stuff every day, like I know I'm good at certain sports because I'm sitting there watching them all day. And that gives me an idea of what's going on. And then when I'm able to crunch the numbers and kind of do all that stuff, that's where I know that I'm making my money and I'm profitable. And that's what I try to stick to. Basically, what I try to do, man, is like you stay in your lane, you know? Like if you're good at basketball, then bet on basketball. If you're good at baseball, bet on baseball. If you're going to be watching summer league games all summer, you have an edge over the average person. So you're going to be able to follow them. If you're not going to be watching those games and you don't know somebody who is giving you good advice on it, stay away from that stuff. So that's really what it comes down to is find an expert that you trust and, you know, trust them.
This year will be the biggest handle on Summer League sports betting. And I started to look into it a little bit. The 2019 NBA Summer League, Benny, is sponsored by
FanDuel Sportsbook.
The MGM Grand.
Okay.
The MGM Grand. So you're right there.
I mean, it's in Vegas, so right? It's in the Vegas Summer League, the one you're talking about? Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't shock me that the casinos are sponsoring it.
Yep.
I mean, you know, that's what it is. That's why I think like when these leagues start talking about integrity fees and all that stuff, it's like, man, it's so much bullshit there. All these guys are in bed together. It's all about, like you said, It's all about the money. It's all about
when somebody cut the NCAA and the NCAA get out the way also. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you won't be seeing none of those "don't bet on it" commercials anymore when they're getting cut.
Exactly. Please bet up and then bet more. You know what I'm saying? All right, Benny. Before we get ready to get up out of here for the day, I want to run through right quick some opening day starters in the American League. Get your opinion on it. Don't forget. Fantasy baseball season getting ready to start. You want that DFS edge, go to elitefantasy.com. For you season longers, that's fantasyguru.com. More information coming out over the course of the next 24 hours of how we're going to roll it out and do it real big right here at the Elite Fantasy Network and elitefantasy.com. Right quick, Benny, Marcus Stroman makes an opening day start.
I'll tell you what, I mean, he's a guy that I've always liked. When that sinker's working, he can be good. The problem is it hasn't really been working. He's struggled a little bit over the course of the last couple of years. I don't know if I'd be on board with him.
Andrew Cashner makes his second opening day start.
He's actually started an opening day before. I mean, Cashner's a middle-of-the-road pitcher. There's not a lot of upside there. Definitely not a guy I'm using for DFS.
No doubt about it. You're more likely stacking against him or playing against him. Blake Snell makes his first career opening day start.
Yo, Blake Snell is no joke, and that's a guy that you definitely want to use in DFS, and you know you want to be looking at. Problem with him is he has a shitty lineup behind him. So before I say bet on him, I want to see, I want to see the matchup and see how they're going out. But Blake Snell is good, man. He can pitch.
Making his fifth opening day start is Boston Red Sox Chris Sale.
Chris Sale's a stud, man. I don't know the matchup. I haven't really looked into it yet.
You pay up for big pitches, right?
And what? And what are we talking? Well, I mean, for the most part, yeah, because, I mean, there's very few times when, you're going to find these cheap guys that can go. Like, again, it's more of a loaded question. Like, if I'm on DraftKings where you get two pitchers, a lot of times I'm paying for one.
No doubt.
The other guy is somewhere like mid to lower range, depending on what I need to fit the bats I want. On FanDuel, for the most part, my starting pitcher usually is in like usually in the top third. Worst case scenario, the top half of starting pitchers. So, yeah, I mean, for the most part, I do pay for pitching.
Masahiro Tanaka makes his fourth opening day start.
I've always liked Tanaka as a Yankees fan. The one thing I will say, though, is the guy gives up a lot of home runs. So, even if you don't play him in DFS, it's always good to take one or two bats against him, especially guys that have power. Because if he gets down in the count 3-1, you're getting a fastball down the middle because he has that Japanese mentality where you just don't walk anybody. It's better to give up a solo home run than walk somebody and give up a 2-run shot to the next guy. So, he does give up a lot of home runs. That's his one drawback. But the dude is still a beast.
For the first time ever, Jose Barrios makes opening day start.
Very volatile, but a lot of upside. So he's not somebody that I'd bet on, but he's definitely somebody that'll make a GPP lineup or two.
Corey Kluber makes his 5th opening day start.
Nothing bad to say about Corey Kluber. The guy's been a stud for a while. He's a machine. He's good.
First time Royals are allowing Brad Keller to make an opening day start.
I mean, I don't think he's a horrible pitcher, but probably not going to be a guy I'm using in DFS and definitely not going to be a guy I'm betting on.
Jordan Zimmerman for the second time makes the opening day start.
Jordan Zimmerman is not good. He is a guy.
Washed.
Yeah.
Carlos Rodon makes his first opening day start.
Dude, a healthy Carlos Rodon is –
right?
Yeah, he can be very, very good. It was a little weird last year. The strikeouts were kind of down when he came back from that injury. I don't know if that's something that's going to carry over, but he's normally a guy that's around the K per inning or so. Doesn't really go deep in the game, throws a lot of pitches, but Carlos Rodon is – put it this way, I used to pick him in season long all the time. I really like his skills.
Trevor Cahill makes his second opening day start.
Another guy, when he's healthy, he's a good pitcher. So I don't know if I'll use him, but I'm definitely not going to be looking to take bats against him.
For the 11th time in his career, Justin Verlander takes the ball on opening day.
Dude, Justin Verlander is literally like life goals. I mean, the dude's a beast. He makes $200 million, and his wife is fucking gorgeous.
See them bags, don't you? My main man, Mike Fiers, makes his first opening day start. This is the game in Tokyo. This was played already. My bad. And then the other one, obviously, Marco Gonzalez. Mike Minor makes his first opening day start.
Not a bad pitcher. Not a bad pitcher. I don't mind him. I'd have to look at the matchups and stuff before I say whether or not I use him. But Minor's not.
Tomorrow we'll go over some National League opening day starters. MLB gets ready. That package for the DFS players out there is going to be announced a little bit later on inside the next 24 hours. So you want to make sure that you get down with the get down. For your man, Benny Ricciardi, I'm Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. Before we go, let's give out the big piece of chicken. Benny, I'm going to give my big piece of chicken to Jusef Nurkic. Sad injury last night, but definitely having a career season. Feel bad for him, but we do know he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I was actually going to give mine to Enes Kanter because, hey, the guy almost got killed and he's got a hit out on him by his own home country.
The Turkish government warned him.
But you know what? Right now, with Nurkic going down and getting injured, he's going to have to play big for the last month or so if they're going to win. So he's somebody that I think we got to keep an eye on as well to go along with, Damian Lillard, who is just on another planet right now ever since the C.J. McCollum injury. He's putting up just ridiculous numbers.
Nets gave it a run last night, you know what I'm saying? But a double overtime victory for the Trailblazers. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, my main man, Benny. Benny's basketball article will be out there later. EliteFantasySports.com. Obviously, a Big Ten game slate tonight. I'll be hopping on Twitch with my man Rob. Yo, we out. Opening the line. We out.